In this video, we're going to be talking about the infantilization of celebrities. We're going to talk about what it is, how it manifests in pop culture, what are the consequences. We're going to talk about it all. So first of all, I feel like infantilization is a word that while I was doing a lot of research on it, it does seem like a lot of people don't really know what it is, or the word is being thrown around a lot. So infantilization, or at least how I'm going to be talking about infantilization, is not calling someone cute or small or adorable. I'm going to be using a definition that I found on a scholarly article. According to this article, infantilization is treating a competent adult as if they are an incompetent child. It's genuinely perceiving someone as like immature and childlike when they're not. This could involve a lot of different things. It can involve using condescending language, denying someone the agency that they should have for their age. It could be being really overprotective, and it's just so like normalized and very like just common, I feel like, in different fandoms. If you're still not sure what infantilization is, I'm going to show you an example now that I found on Twitter. I stumbled across this video and I think it's been taken down. I think maybe the user deleted it. I don't know. I can't find it anywhere. Maybe it is still out there and I just can't find it. But it was this like TikTok of this girl bawling her eyes out, crying, devastated because she found out that BTS, or like she thought about the fact that BTS are going to the military. I don't actually remember exactly what she said. It was very much giving like,
Oh my God, my babies, like who's gonna protect them?
and I'm just going to show you the comments because I did screenshot the comments under the video. This comment says,
Who's gonna cuddle Jimin when he's sad? Who? I'm so worried about June because he's probably gonna end up getting in trouble for breaking everything on accident. I immediately thought about how Jin is everyone's older brother, and now he won't be there to say, Kyung will do it, Kyung will do it. Be right back crying again.
these comments are things I feel like you would say to a toddler. Worried that a grown man is going to break things and get into trouble for it. It's giving sending your toddler to kindergarten for the first time. Get like he has a reputation of being clumsy, but like it's giving infantilization. It's giving infantilization. And like who's gonna cuddle Jimin when he's sad? Like again, a grown man. I think he's gonna be just fine dealing with the military. And obviously some of these comments might be sarcastic, and that's why I'm gonna blur the names of all of these comments, because at the end of the day, I don't know who's being sarcastic and not. I don't want people to go ahead and attack these people. I do not condone that behavior. But I'm going to tell you right now, there are people, even if this is not one of them, there are people out there that will post shit like this dead ass serious, like dead ass serious. And we're going to go through more examples throughout this video, and they're hilarious, so stick around for it. But it's wild. It's wild. I will say now that what is considered childlike and adult-like really depends on the culture that you're in. A lot of studies on infantilization has been done on parents infantilizing their children, because that is a very common instance when infantilization occurs. And so in the West, overprotective, really like controlling parents can be seen as infantilizing. However, in a study done on Asian populations, they did actually find that overprotective, overbearing parents are actually seen as a protective and a nurturing thing. And also in a lot of Asian countries, cuteness or adults acting childlike manners or behaviors is a lot more like, I guess, normalized than in the West. So a good example would be, I'm going to be talking about K-pop a lot in this video because I feel like infantilization occurs a lot in K-pop fandoms. We're going to get into it. Cuteness in Korean culture is called like aegyo, and that's like part of society. It's like a norm that some in certain situations, in certain contexts, you act cute. So if I do make any remarks that do not accurately represent a particular culture, or if I miss out on the important context, then do definitely let me know. With that being said, research suggests that infantilization is increasing. It seems like it's becoming more and more widespread in society. It also seems like it kind of increases in your teenage years and then it kind of decreases and then it sort of increases again in old age. Instances where infantilization might occur includes in teenagers. It also often occurs in populations with disabilities or minority groups and elderly people. We often see people going,
Oh my God, old people are so cute. Oh my God, I need to help them.
however, what I found really interesting and what I learned in my psychology class, treating old people as if they're incompetent and as if they can't take care of themselves can actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it can make them decline health-wise and mentally a lot faster. And encouraging them to have independence actually is a lot better for their quality of life. It also happens a lot more with women than with men. But you can even infantilize yourself. We've all seen, those videos of adult people throwing temper tantrums in public, or even like more subtle. Maybe there's some people who genuinely will rely, even at their like 30 years old, will rely on someone else to call their doctor for them, stuff like that, because they genuinely feel like they're not competent enough. But then to bring it back to the title of this video, how does it manifest in celebrities and pop culture? Obviously, there's not much research on this. So from now on, a lot of the things that I will be talking about is from anecdotal evidence or from the opinions and thoughts of other people online. So I'm going to talk about 5 different ways that celebrities can get infantilized. And we're going to have some examples for each one. Let's get started. The first one is perceiving a celebrity as innocent. This is pretty straightforward. You truly view them as this being that's pure and that's innocent. I think a good example of this would be Disney kids. So a lot of kids that grew up as celebrities on Disney Channel, we often see them, really struggling to detach from that image. For instance, when Miley Cyrus, had her whole like revamp of her image, people ripped her to shreds. People have this perception that these celebrities are meant to be, children. When they grow up and when they're no longer children and they do, adult things, people just like freak out about it and they're just like, how dare they? How could they? I think a more recent example would be this image recently went viral, or not, maybe not recently, maybe it was like a year ago. I don't know. But this image of Taeyang from BTS smoking went viral. Of course, the majority of people were actually pretty chill about it. It seems like both Korean and Western netizens, a lot of them, accepted the fact that he is a grown adult, he can do whatever he wants. And, most men in Korea do smoke, so it really should not be a surprise if he also smokes. But there were some fans could just not deal with the fact that Taeyang would be smoking.
Taeyang smoking is completely fine as he's an adult and can decide whatever he wants.
Great. Glad we're on the same page.
But I just never imagined that cute little Tay Tay would be like this. The person who even hates coffee and alcohol. He was a baby back then, and I miss that side of him.
Girl, be so for real. I get it, I guess. Maybe you're reminiscing about the good old days, but this comment just does give some infantilization vibes because it's like you cannot expect someone to still be, who they were like 10 years ago. Because I'm pretty sure he debuted like 10 years ago and he was like 17. I know that some people said that that image of him was edited. I actually don't know if that's true or not, but either way, it doesn't really matter. There's a theory called cultivation theory that suggests that the more you're presented with something in a particular way, the more you will actually perceive it to be that way. Wait, I don't know if that was a good example, but for instance, the more you're presented with the idea that idols are like perfect and innocent and all this stuff, the more you will actually believe it to be true, the more you will actually perceive them to be that way. I won't say that all K-pop fans do this. I would say the majority don't. And I would say also that there are certain idols that are an exception that don't present their image in this particular way. But I will just say that I do think it's pretty prevalent in K-pop. And I think that's also why it's been a topic of discussion a lot in sort of the K-pop scene. And then the second way a lot of celebrities get infantilized is by overprotective fans. This is pretty obvious. I think it kind of feeds into a lot of these points will like sort of overlap a bit. A lot of fans will almost see themselves as the parents of their favorite celebrity. That's kind of the vibe that it gives. I need to protect my idol or this person, whether that be from haters, from their own company, from whatever it might be. When again, these are grown adults who very much can take care of themselves. I think this happens a lot when celebrities get into new relationships. And I find this so intriguing. A lot of fans will sort of try to protect their fave from like the person that they're dating. So, for instance, in this post, this fan of Harry Styles is upset about the fact that he's going out with this lady. I don't know if they were in a relationship. I don't know the context of this, okay? Because I'm not really a Harry Styles fan, but the commentary here is so funny. Let's just read it together and break it down, shall we?
She's smiling in those pictures because she gets off on making Harry uncomfortable, on pushing him to be seen with her with flashing lights everywhere. She's fucking disgusting for smiling while Harry is very obviously wearing a mask and hiding because he's anxious. You can clearly see the difference between Harry's miserable expression and hers. She's visibly liking all the attention they've been getting these days, while he's so tired of it. Is this supposed to be a normal relationship? Awful to see her smiling next to Harry being so frustrated.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Girl, it's funny because it's like these people don't understand that, Harry Styles chose to be with this person. Just to like assume that she's like this perpetrator who's forcing him to do these things as if he's not an active participant and probably chose to go out with her is wild. It's crazy to be like, oh, his miserable face. Babe, he's literally wearing a face mask. And as you said, there's flashing lights everywhere. I don't think this is an accurate representation of how he feels with her. It's just crazy. The overprotectiveness is wild. This also happened to Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift was seen hanging out with her boyfriend. And I guess they were partying, having fun. A fan had something to say about it.
I've made my decision. I'm not a fan of this at all. He's dragging her into parties, or rather, clubs. I've never seen her attend, or nor has she ever claimed to enjoy. It's the honeymoon phase. They're humoring each other, but she might develop an addiction. Drugs aren't a joke.
Be so for real. First of all, the whole thing of like him being seen as this big bad guy who like she needs protection from, as if again she has not chosen to be with him. But also saying like she never claimed to enjoy partying and I've never seen her attend these. Like, babe, do you know her personally? Are you her friend? Are you her bestie? Like, it's very much a giving parasocial relationship, and I fear for you. I fear for actually I fear for Taylor, and I think you might need help. She's a woman who can choose to be with whoever she wants to be and do whatever substances she wants to do. At the end of the day, it's her body, right? So crazy. It's just wild. Like, this is the last example of this. Jenny posted this cute picture of her in her Calvin Klein's, get that bag, and she's showing a little bit of skin, a little bit of her stomach, and someone had to say something about it. Someone had to ruin the fucking vibes and say something.
Jenny wants to pollute Tan's innocent mind when she posts pics like this, and it's honestly disgusting.
Okay, first of all, Tang is not even like he's not in the picture, he's not tagged in the picture, he's not commented on the picture. Why is he suddenly getting introduced in the conversation? Why are you bringing him up? Second of all, what innocent mind? That's a grown man. He is in his late 20s, I'm pretty sure. Why do you think she's corrupting his mind? Just honestly make it make sense. It really does not make sense. Anyways, crazy. The third way celebrities get infantilized is through the micromanaging of companies. Now, here's where K pop really comes into play. This does happen outside of K pop too, but in K pop, it's very like well known that a lot of idols are not allowed to do certain things. For instance, they're not allowed to, sometimes date freely, voice their political or controversial opinions. They're not allowed to sometimes produce or write their own songs and participate in the creative process. Sometimes they are not allowed to go partying. I've also heard that a lot of trainees are forced to like delete their social media before they sign their contracts, things like that. And this is all so that the companies, these entertainment companies, can create a very curated image for each idol. Usually, this image in K pop is seen as a very clean image. And there's obviously a bit less of this in the entertainment industry in the West, I would say. We have like literally Central C, whose his whole image nowadays is to be seen as a cheater, which is wild. The fact that that's also kind of working for him, wild. I digress. This also happens in a lot of workplaces in general. So I'm telling you right now, this could doesn't just happen to like idols and celebrities. It could happen to you as well. A lot of sociologists say that this makes workers believe or feel like their managers can't like trust them to behave responsibly and behave maturely. And it definitely becomes infantilizing. It's like, why are you controlling me as if as if I'm a child who's gonna make a mistake at any given moment? A lot of research and like scholarly articles have also focused on like this sort of micromanagement in school settings. So it's definitely something that's widespread. It doesn't just happen in the entertainment industry. But I'm trying to explain that if it affects workers so negatively in just regular workplaces, imagine what it must be like for these K-pop idols who like literally have to present this image of themselves where it's very curated. The fourth way a lot of celebrities get infantilized would be for excusing celebrities' behavior. An example where this happens a lot, I feel like, would be in cultural appropriation cases. I think a lot of fans, when they're like, a favorite idol gets into a cultural appropriation scandal, a lot of them will go,
They don't know better. It's not their fault.
and it's like, yes, this might be true. Like, it might be true that, aren't as educated on different cultures. That might be like completely correct. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they still shouldn't be held accountable and shouldn't be held responsible and should not be educated on it. I feel like a lot of fans will like kind of go like, okay, they didn't know, they weren't educated. So like we can't call them out on it. That's precisely like why we should call them out on it. You should call someone out on something wrong that they do even more if like you know that they're not aware of it so that they can become aware of it. A lot of these like super fans of celebrities, when this person gets like does something wrong, instead of like holding them accountable, a lot of them will just sort of defend them as if they are not like a grown person who should know right from wrong. This is a little bit of a side note, but we see this a lot with criminals getting like, especially like good looking criminals, getting like, oh my God, he's just a boy. He didn't know he deserves a second chance. Babying literal criminals. I thought about it and really want to make a video about like people falling in love or like having crushes or like worshipping serial killers and criminals because that's just so wild to me. It's so wild. They're not babies. They should be held accountable. They should be held responsible. And we shouldn't excuse their behavior just because we like them. That's a little bit of a side note. But yeah. But what are the consequences of infantilization? Not everyone who infantilizes someone else has bad intentions or ill intentions. Most fans are realistic and normal. They will recognize, this is an adult and they can do whatever they want. I technically don't really have a say in it. But there's some fans that thought unfortunately just does not cross their mind. They're a little bit more delusional. What makes infantilization bad or not is if it is imposed. If you're infantilizing someone who clearly does not want to be infantilized, that's when it becomes wrong, I feel. So a really, really big study was made on infantilization, and it found that when competent individuals are treated like incompetent children, a lot of negative outcomes can happen, such as a sense of lost control over their life, increased depression and anxiety, increased anger, and also lower self esteem. What can we do about it? So, if you find that you're infantilizing other people, then clearly I think the best course of action will probably be to seek a therapist or to try to explore the reasons why you feel the need to infantilize others. And yeah, that was it for this video on infantilization. What do you think about this topic? It is something that I feel like does happen a lot, and I think the word that of infantilizing has sort of lost its meaning a lot. I think it's been thrown around and used in like the wrong contexts. You can call an adult cute and adorable and not infantilize them. It's definitely a lot deeper than that. And so I did think that this was a video that would be interesting and important to make. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to watch more videos like this where I intersect my passion for psychology with pop culture, then definitely make sure to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you hopefully in the next one. Bye bye.